Hi everyone, my name is Julia Palermo with Palermo and Associates located in New York, and I'm here today to answer your pressing litigation questions. But first, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram and Twitter. All the links are in the description box below, including my website and other information. So today I'm going to be talking about a topic that some of you may cringe when you hear, and that's a prenup, and why you should be thinking about getting a prenup. I know a lot of people in love hate it when I bring it up, and they always tell me, well, I'm so in love, I don't want to think about divorce, or, well, bringing up a prenup is basically saying that I'm going to be getting divorced, or I'm afraid to talk about prenups because that might be hurting my relationship. But the truth of the matter is, the only person who is going to suffer from you getting a well-drafted prenup is your attorney. Because let's face it, divorces are expensive and really, really expensive. And not only are they expensive, they're extremely time-consuming. And having a well-drafted prenup will save you thousands and thousands of dollars if something does happen in your relationship and you do end up thinking about or getting a divorce. Every day you get insurance for your house, for your car, for your electronics, you get warranties, and you put those things aside just in case something happens and you need to take them out. And sometimes you'll get a warranty on a product and then you never have to use it because it never breaks. And other times, sometimes your item breaks and you have to use the warranty. That's what a prenup is. It's basically insurance. It's getting down on paper what you both want in case something happens. And there's a chance that you may never use it. And then there's a chance that you might. Just because you get a prenup doesn't mean you're definitely going to get a divorce. But not getting a prenup doesn't mean you won't get divorced. What it does mean is if you do get a divorce, that you are going to be subjected to state law, which may or may not be favorable in your situation. And there's really nothing you can do to change that unless you already had a prenup or a postnup. So why leave things up to chance? Why wait and see what will happen when you could sit down with your partner while you're both in a great place, while you both love each other, and figure out what works best for you instead of waiting and letting a judge who doesn't know anything about your relationship, doesn't know anything about your history, who's only out there to make sure that the law is followed, decides what happens to you, your spouse, and all of your money and items. One of the biggest reasons why it's a really good idea to get a prenup is because then you two can decide what works best for you. And it's so much easier to do this and talk about this when you're both in a loving place, where you both care for each other, where you're both looking to make sure you're not trying to, get more than the other person, where you're both willing to give a little, where you're able to talk things out and have a conversation. I'm going to tell you right now, it's very hard to do a settlement and divorce when both parties feel hurt, feel anger, feel jealousy. There's so many emotions that go through in a divorce, and it takes months and months, sometimes years, to get things done and to finalize a divorce. With a prenup, that could save you so much time, and at least you know that you're getting the best deal possible because you and your partner discussed this while you were in the best of situations, while you were in the best of moods with each other, when you were willing to give your partner everything. Another reason why a prenup is a good idea is, let's say you have a business or an asset or something that you want to protect. Or maybe actually it's not a business you have right now, but it's a dream of a business that you have, an entrepreneurship that you want to protect, that you've been pouring all this love and passion into. A prenup can protect that. You can put down that any business you had before or any business you create after is your separate property. On the flip side, let's say you're a stay-at-home mom or you're marrying someone that has a trust fund who doesn't work. There are so many situations where you may want a prenup as well so that you can protect yourself. Having a prenup doesn't make you stingy. If anything, it might even make you more generous during the marriage. Knowing that you can take off from work, your career, and you can spend time at home with the kids and know that you're going to be getting something at the end if something goes wrong may make someone more willing or more likely to be a stay-at-home parent and not go into work and take that break so that both of you can have a child with one of their parents at home. Or it may make you more likely to take that risk to start a business that might be successful because you know that it's protected now. And now you can, enhance both of your lives by doing something and being more generous, because if something happens, if things go south, that all of the stuff that you've worked so hard for, all the stuff that you've given up, that you're still protected at the end of the day. And that's really, really something that I think may actually help your relationship instead of hurt your relationship, like a lot of people like to say about prenups. So definitely think of it in that way instead of I'm going to be trying to prevent my spouse from getting anything from me. It's, yes, I'm protecting my stuff, but not only am I protecting my assets, this allows me now to take a risk because I don't have to worry about my assets being valuated or divided in a divorce, because under state law, if you have a business, that could be marital property. The money you make at that business might be something that's subject to being split. And knowing now that you don't have to do that may make you more courageous to start this business that may actually enhance both you and your partner's life. And again, the same for the woman or man who might stay home. Knowing that your partner is going to be giving you something if you stay home and raise the kids may make one of the partners more willing, make you more willing to be like, okay, I'm going to take a break in my schooling, or I'm going to leave my job so that I can raise our kids, because I know that I'm protected, that I'm safe, that if I do this, I'm not going to end up with the short stick if something happens and things go south, because I've seen that a lot. I've seen a lot of partners who have left their job, quit their schooling, something like that, to raise children or to try and raise kids, and then end up having a lot of issues when a divorce comes around. So it's really, really a good way to actually enhance your relationship. Another thing, I know a lot of people say, well, we'll just keep all of our accounts separate and we'll just, keep things separated and that's enough, that we don't need a prenup and that alone will protect my assets. Well, the truth is that that's not always true, not in every state and not in every area. That if you have a really good lawyer on the other side, if let's say some of those assets that you were keeping separate in a different account were used throughout the marriage, they may argue that your account that you kept separate was actually marital property and not separate property. So don't make that assumption that just because you guys are going to split everything and have separate accounts and not touch each other's items means that you are protecting yourself in a divorce. It doesn't. That's not how divorce law works. That's not what a judge is going to see. So again, just because you think you're doing something that might be protecting your property, if you don't have something well written as a prenup that you've discussed with an attorney, then that may not necessarily be sufficient. You may still be subjected to giving some of that money or some of those assets to your partner. So you really want to be sure that if there's something you want to protect, that you do it right and you get the prenup. Another good reason, honestly, to be thinking about a prenup and to discuss a prenup is because one of the biggest things that is required in a prenup is full disclosure. Full disclosure of your financial assets, how much you're making, your income, as well as your debt. So you know what? By doing this, you may actually know better whether or not you want to be married to this person and what you're really getting yourself into. One of the biggest reasons people get divorced still is because of money. Always money problems. It's something that is very hard to separate and a lot of people have a lot of issues with. So if you discuss money, finances, and all of those things up front, you could actually be saving your relationship in the long run. Plus, now you know what your partner has, what you have, because you may not even realize what you have either. And by laying it all out on paper, now both of you know what each side has and what you're both getting into. And this may actually be a better way for you guys to connect in the long run. And it's a great way for you to know where your starting point is in this marriage, where this financial starting point is, and will help you guys have frank discussions and help you to figure out what works best for the two of you, not just for the prenup, but financially in the long run. One big caveat is you cannot put in a prenup child support and child custody. Every judge will throw that out. Child support is not something that you can waive in a prenup. No judge is going to be okay with that. So just understand that things that deal with future children may not necessarily be covered. And another thing I suggest is if you're thinking about doing a prenup, get separate lawyers. So this way you know that both of you are being protected. that you're both talking to someone who can help make sure that everything that you want, that both of you want, gets put in a well-drafted prenup, and that you know that this way both of you are safe, both of you are protected, and you won't feel hurt by the other side. You can just let the attorneys deal with that, and they can even actually advise you what's good to give and what's good to protect and what will be beneficial for you. So definitely do that. Have separate attorneys. So that's all I have to say today. I really hope I changed your mind in regards to prenups, and that you start to think of them in a different way and may even consider them in the future if you and your spouse are thinking about, you and your partner are thinking about getting married. And if you have any other questions or concerns or any topics that you would like to see covered, please leave a comment below or send me an email or reach out to me on Instagram and send me a DM. Have a great day. Thank you.